Part 0 means there will be no gameplay in this video. This is a description of the mods I am using, and a description of my species setup. So, skip to the next video if you want to see me actually play the game. Anyway, I really like Stellaris. I think it has a lot of potential. However, the vanilla game, I become increasingly frustrated with it, I forgot the structure of that sentence halfway through saying it. Anyway, I'm playing with a lot of mods. What's the point? Lots of mods. How many mods? I forget the exact number, but anyway, I made a, you can see in the video description, actually, how many mods. I forgot to count them. I will quickly, or maybe not quickly, describe all of them in alphabetical order. Beginning with 2D Galaxy, which, these are all available on the Steam Workshop as well. I really like the modular nature of Steam Workshop. It's almost like it's in the name, mod. Anyway, instead of having one large mod pack, I can have dozens of small mods, which means I can pick the things I like and not pick the things I don't like, instead of being stuck with everything. It's really nice. Although the problem is that making them all work together can be very difficult sometimes. Anyway, I know these mods work together because I've done a few test games and everything seems to be in order. The first mod is 2D Galaxy, which is very straightforward. It just sets all the stars in the galaxy on a two-dimensional plane instead of making them a little bit higher or lower as in the base game. I find that sometimes determining whether a planet is in my borders or an opponent's borders when it's right on the edge is difficult to tell, but with this mod I can always tell immediately because there is no z-axis. The next mod is Additional Traits. It is one of, I believe, 3 trait packs I'm using. It just adds traits. The next mod, Beautiful Universe version 2.0, mostly just changes the backgrounds of the solar systems and galaxies, with pictures from the Hubble Space Telescope and so on. Makes stuff pretty. The next mod is Better Empire Names, which I find somewhat disappointing. It changes the names of empires from based on the species to based on the home planet, which I guess makes more sense, though I'd really prefer they have some names based on the species, some names based on the home planet, and some names that were just unrelated to both. The next mod is Civilian Trade, which is one I don't like a lot and might disable through this playthrough because it mostly just makes the game lag. It adds civilian trading ships which travel between planets and distribute resources, and they can be blown up, and if they're blown up it hurts your economy. Somewhat interesting, however, I find it ultimately just adds hundreds more ships to the game that make it even more laggy. I don't know. I'm not sure what to think about that. The next mod is Enhanced AI, which supposedly makes the AI much better in a variety of ways. However, in my experience, the AI is still not so great. The next mod is Ethic and Government Rebuild, which I will show you in the trait selection screen. In fact, I will save the description of that for later. Needless to say, it changes the ethics and governments quite a lot. The next mod is Extended Traits, just another trait pack. The next mod is Fallen Empires Expanded, which changes Fallen Empires quite a lot. It adds several kinds of Fallen Empires, and it makes Fallen Empires do more interesting things more often. Also, sometimes you spawn next to xenophobic isolationists who demand that you abandon your homeworld, and then you lose, which is annoying, but fun. Fun in the Dwarf Fortress kind of way. Next mod is Harder Invaders. I probably don't need to say the next mod is. It seems unnecessary. Harder Invaders, as the name implies, makes the endgame crises much more difficult, and also allows the player to change the difficulty. So if you find the endgame crisis to be too easy, you can spawn more enemy ships. Although I really don't like endgame crises anyway, they're just doom stacks. That's all. I would think that could be one crisis, but another crisis could be taking away all of a particular resource, like you no longer have any minerals. What will you do now? Or none of your planets produce food for 10 years, so all of your planets are in starvation, meaning your pops are revolting. That would be a cool in-game crisis, I think. Just a doom stack, I think, is really not interesting. The next 3 mods are improved space battles. That mod is several mods. The 3 I selected were Doomsday weapons and ships, balance, and graphics. Doomsday weapons and ships add stuff to the late game, which I will probably never see because I tend to not play into the late game because of lag and also just boredom. But if I'm scientifically fortunate, I can unlock some very fun things like planet-destroying lasers and so on. I'm not sure what balance does, really. It apparently makes the game more balanced, according to the description. And the graphics one, again, I'm not sure what it does. The description's not very clear. I think it mostly just tweaks the graphics to make them less flamboyant, so things are easier to see. More AI personalities is one of my favorite mods, if not my favorite mod. If you want to play with only one mod installed, I suggest more AI personalities, because it adds lots of AI personalities, some of which are very cool, like the Psychotic Horde personality, which is an AI empire that just declares war on all of its neighbors seemingly randomly, and attacks people, and sometimes wins and sometimes loses, and it's interesting, it's cool. If you border a Psychotic Horde, you never know what they're going to do. One of my problems with Stellaris is that diplomacy is sort of pointless. When you first meet a species, or an empire I should say, you are either friends with that empire forever, or you're enemies forever, from the start, and that's all. And if you are more powerful than they will probably never declare war on you. And that's it. And so then you can just ignore diplomacy for the entire game, always. And that's what I usually do. And I think I shouldn't be able to do that. So more AI personalities makes the AI, in combination with the enhanced AI mod, it makes the AI more interactive with the player and other AI empires, and in the end makes the game more difficult and more interesting. You'll see a lot of the AI personalities in the game. Some of them are very cool. More events mod adds events. That's it. Again, some of them are really cool, and I think should be in the base game. Music pack adds music, like the music you should be able to hear right now, unless I screwed up the volume levels, which I probably did because I haven't made a video in, 6 months, 7 months? So I've kind of forgotten how to do some of these things. The next mod is Planetary Diversity. This one is super cool, I think. There are a lot of planet habitability mods. This one, though, I find especially good for one reason I will describe in the next part of this video when I describe the species setup. Reduce aura graphics does that. Makes things easier to see, makes the game run a little more quickly. It's just good. The next mod, Shut Up We Don't Care, is very good in that it disables a lot of the pointless messages in Stellaris. Like when two AI empires rival each other, what do I care? What does that matter to me? It usually doesn't, because diplomacy in this game is not so important, so Shut Up We Don't Care removes those messages. Less message spam, I like it, although there is still some message spam. Svafa's expanded species traits is another trait pack. There are a lot of traits. I really like them. They're quite fun. And having several trait packs enabled at once allows me to really tune my species to be exactly what I want, to fit the sort of theme. I have a particular theme in mind for this playthrough. You'll see it in a moment. The next several mods are the tiny UI mods, which make UI elements smaller. And as you can probably tell, my screen resolution is not what's the typical screen resolution? 1080 by whatever pixels, because I'm playing on a laptop. So my smaller screen means that the UI, which is designed for a larger screen, often doesn't really fit so well. So these mods make the UI more usable for me, which I really like. Why would I not really like that? I don't really need to say which I really like. Anyway. The next mod, that wasn't necessary. I don't know if it's good that I often criticize my speech. I suppose it is good that I want to improve, but do I improve? Anyway, unbiased systems is, I think, an essential mod in that it removes the forced spawn of colonizable planets near your home world. So you no longer have guaranteed, I think it's 2 or 3, habitable worlds near your homeworld, which I think is great. Again, I don't need to say which I think is if I didn't think it was great. Were great? Is this subjunctive? I wouldn't put it in this. It's not a mod pack. Playthrough. Let's play. So I might have unbiased systems makes planet spawning more random. So I might have lots of colonizable planets near my home star, or I might have 0. And I might spawn next to xenophobic isolationists. Which is cool, I really like that. It adds a lot more randomness to the game. As opposed to adding it to something else. Which, don't say which. Again, unnecessary. United Traits is another trait pack. War name variety changes the names of wars. From Skirmish and Brawl to Crusade, or War of Unification, or something like that. So in my typical long-winded way of filling speech with unnecessary dribble, I have described all the mods I am using. Now, I will show you... Did I forget to press record? I did not forget to press record. Oh, I'm so good at this game. So I will show you my species setup. I've already made it. The Federated Clans, and I will describe this, I wrote this, so you know it's good, with my best storytime voice. That clearing the throat was unnecessary. That was just a social trope. Anyway. The Federated Clans consist of feuding Vemish kin groups dominated by the hierarch of the most powerful clan, the Autocrat. Vems are small, short-lived, bellicose, and characterized by violently fierce competition. Due to their short lives, Vems tend to be highly opportunistic and prone to constant infighting to climb to the top with a ladder of corpses. As such, highly valued is an egalitarianism where seemingly everyone can seize opportunity. Vemish leaders die quickly due to senescence or betrayal, meaning rivals are usually hopeful of a quick rise to power. The clans maintain a dangerously utilitarian realpolitik of unscrupulousness, and the dominance of the autocrat is anything but stable. So the theme of this species is that they are very small, so small here as well. I can actually show you better in the trait screen. They are small and ephemeral. So I think their maximum age at the beginning of the game is 27. Meaning you'll see in the game, most of my leaders will die within maybe 1 year of me recruiting them. Which I think it makes the game kind of very difficult, especially because your scientists can't gain experience because they keep dying. But also, I think it's just really cool. It's fun. It's zany. It's wacky. But they also are very, very... Oh yeah, parthenogenic as well. Decreasing growth time. So growth time minus 50%. So they're very small and reproduce quickly, and they're really nasty, hostile, belligerent, bellicose, whatever. People that are prone to fighting a lot, which gives me the idea that they also tend to be extremely disagreeable. So with parthenogenic and rebel, ethics divergence is increased by 60%. So as my empire expands, basically every pop will have different ethics, and so there will be massive unhappiness in my empire and upheaval as the pops just kill each other because they can't agree on anything. And mercenary I also like. It's just good. It fits the theme, and also the army damage increases very good. This is excellent. 50% rival influence gain is good. Very good. Okie dokie. Anyway, in this mod list there are a lot of traits. Lots of traits. I'm not going to go through all of them because that would take a really long time, but as you can see, there are quite a few. Some of these I wanted to put in here, but I didn't have enough trait picks. This actually is just one number in one line of one file in the Stellaris defines file. I could change this in 2 minutes and give myself more trait picks. However, having only 6 forces me to be careful about what I pick, and so I didn't change that. Anyway, Born Warriors I really wanted, as well as competitive or aggressive, but what I have is fine. Some of these are really cool, like Robot or Swarm. Oh yes, Abomination is great. Exterminator is fun. Oh yes, Brutal. They originally had this, but I removed it in order to give them Mercenary instead, but Brutal is pretty great. I don't know, actually. This gives more energy credits. More army damage, more happiness. Maybe I'll remove this, actually, and give them Brutal instead. Brutal fits the theme, I think. Yeah, let's give them Brutal. Oh, Invasive is good too, migration speed. Hunter's not bad, but Brutal. Brutal is just funny. So many cool traits. I want to describe them all to you, but I eventually have to start playing. So Brutal, I'll have 1 trait point left over, that's fine. Save. Yes. Because it's just... It's too good. It fits the theme too well, and also I love the descriptions. I also gave them this sort of purplish pink and cyan color because I think it does not match what we would expect a violent species to prefer. So I just thought it was funny. And as I'm sure you probably noticed by now, Methane World. What is that? This is the... Oh, I've already forgotten the name of the mod. Planetary Diversity mod. Oh, this is so good for me. I really hated how in vanilla there were only 9, I think, planet types. I think there should be a huge gradient on many axes of temperature, air composition, weather patterns, humidity, lots and lots of things. So this mod adds some more of types of planets. However, this ultimately doesn't really matter. The category of planet matters. However, if you have a preference for Arctic, you will have the same habitability for Arctic as you do for Alpine and Tundra. So these 3 planet types are essentially one planet type. However, this is still really cool. I guess I'll click through them quickly. No, I won't. I won't click through them because you can play this for yourself unless you don't have Stellaris and you're just watching this. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I suppose I'll click through them then to allow you to read the bit. Pause the video if you want to read these. Some of them are kind of silly, like desert islands, but oh well, whatever. Anyway, there are lots of really nifty ones. I really like this one, Geothermal Arctic. I just think it looks cool on the screen. As opposed to looking cool somewhere else. So many unnecessary words. But anyway, the main reason I really like this mod is that it adds the 3 planet types you see down here: tomb, methane, and ammonia. And methane and ammonia are special planet types that are just... If a species is from a methane world, it cannot colonize anything but methane worlds. Which I think adds even more difficulty to the game. If you're from one of these nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere planets, with the right technology, you can colonize them. With this, no, never. These people could never comfortably live on one of these planets, which I think is really cool. You don't need to say which I think is. This, I think, however, is dumb. If you're from a tomb world, minimal signs of life, you should not be comfortable on other planets, I think, right? Shouldn't this mean that you have minus habitability for everywhere? But whatever. Anyway, we won't start on the tomb world, we'll start on a lovely methane world. We know it's lovely because we're from the world. That makes it lovely. And the ethics and government, what's it called? Expanded? No, rebuild. Ethics and government rebuild. This is so cool! This mod is amazing! I've become very excited about these things. This particular species, I picked egalitarian, not because it really fits the theme so well, but because it increases the leader pool size and decreases leader recruitment cost. And because our leaders die so quickly, I need the leader recruitment cost, or else the game is just unplayable. I have no leaders and I can't research technology or scan planets or things, and that... I want the game to be really zany, but not quite that zany. What else? Fanatic Militarist, of course, because of the violent nature of the species, and Authoritarian, though I might make them just regular Militarist and Fanatic Authoritarian. Monthly Influence plus 20% is pretty good. This increases army damage. I think I actually will make them Fanatic Authoritarian. Because that increases mental influence, which we really need. Decreases ethics divergence, not like that matters. We have plus 60%, so... Faction suppression cost... That would be better, I think, for the malices I have selected, which is why I think I won't select that, just to make the game more difficult. However, monthly influence is really important. Also because we'll have a lot of frontier outposts, which I have left of which I have left the monthly influence cost. I could have removed that like I did in my mod Snowball, which I'm not using now because it's not compatible with all these mods. However, I decided against that because I wanted the game to be more difficult. And what else? Oh yes, I also have a mod that, I forget which one of the mods adds the colors. Here. Actually, I want to reverse this color scheme. Maybe there. Maybe there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, with all that said, what? Did I screw up the ethic? Nope. Oh yes, I have one unspent trait point. That's fine, whatever. It's for the theme. I'm fitting the theme! So we want to play on +9 Fallen Empires? No, we don't, actually. That is from the Fallen Empires expanded mod. That guarantees that you'll have lots of very interesting Fallen Empires, but it also guarantees that a lot of the galaxy will be taken by Fallen Empires, which is annoying. I find that annoying, therefore I won't use it. A regular number of fallen empires. We will play on an elliptical galaxy. I could have gotten mods that changed galaxy generation, however, I think elliptical is best for this playthrough, so I didn't use those mods. Because I want to be surrounded by enemies. With the other galaxy configurations, you can sort of divide and conquer. With elliptical, there are people around you all the time. As such, I will increase the number of AI empires to 20. No AI starts, because I think those are dumb. And increase number of fallen empires. Decrease how to worlds. Excellent. High aggressiveness. Hard difficulty. I forget what that does. Oh yes, that's important, because AI is not so smart. They need the bonuses. Advanced neighbors, off, please. I don't like that. I think I'll leave clusters on, actually. Yes. Because I want to be surrounded by bad guys. Okay, so, generate the galaxy, and then I will end this video. And at the beginning of the next video, I will actually play the game. Although I suppose I'll let you see yes, that's what I wanted. I wanted it to have this really ugly pinkish purple color. Let you see the galaxy. Yep, looks fine. You can see the 2D galaxy map. Looks better. Anyway, that is for another time. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.